Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Freaky Fast Broadcasting presentation of the Save the Wolves 175 at Pocono Raceway. We are at the Tricky Triangle for 70 big ones. Joining me in the booth, I am Carl Pooler. Next to me is Billy Martin, and as always, we have Robert Moyer in the production box. So here we are, Billy. Pocono is always fun to watch, and we see these guys running on their qualified time, and so already some surprising drivers in the top five we've seen already. What do you think already about our practicers and all our qualifying already with no turn four?
Well, it's going to be quite exciting here tonight, Carl. We have three turns. As you said, you cannot find turn four here. We got the longest straightaway in NASCAR. So it's going to be a long straight. And then diving down in that turn number one, that's going to be a critical place for these drivers once things go green. And yes, it's getting exciting. As the 53 now, Robert Rader, one of those favorite guys, he's made himself in a third position here tonight.
And it's definitely, this track can mix things up. And as always, race fans, this presentation is brought to you by Ultimate Siding and Gutters LLC. Our customers say we're the best in the business. We specialize in residential and commercial construction. We have been in the business for over 15 years and only use the best materials. We are dedicated to completing each project in a timely manner. There's nothing more important than having a house to call a home. Ultimate Siding and Gutter. And mentioned earlier, this is a interesting sponsored event. It's the Wolf Conservation Center up in New York. This is wolves are such a vital part of the environments, and people want to save them. A lot of species extinct, so this is a good way to get the name out there. Check out the link, nywolf.org. You can adopt a wolf, donate some money, and just go to a good cause and helping nature do its thing. But looking at the qualified field, we already have Mark Whitley at the top. We are used to seeing Mark there, but right behind him, Cedric Hunter. These two drivers have had a great season thus far. 5 wins between them. 3 have gone to Mark Whitley, including last week, and then Cedric Hunter winning 2 so far.
Yeah, so it's the normal as we see up at the top right now, and then you throw in a Robert Rader, you throw in Jason Finzer there. So this is going to be quite a racetrack tonight. It's going to be a little different. They have more room to pass here tonight than last week.
And this is such a big wide track. Last season, if you race fans were with us, we only had 2 cautions, and those were the competition cautions. So very large track. Not a lot of plenty of action, but not a lot of contact, not a lot of bouncing off the walls like we saw last week in Dover. 7 cautions overall in Dover last week. I have a feeling this week is going to be a little more different with the draft and 3 different corners. These guys are going to be attacking this track just a little differently than they've attacked any track so far this year.
And you know what, Carl? When you look at this racetrack too, there's going to be a lot of considerations to handle here because it's going to be a fuel mileage race here. So it's going to be a lot of different strategies here tonight, and especially with the 3 different turnstiles. And if you come down low and hit that apron, you could do a 360 quite easy.
It is so easy, especially turn 1, to lose that control of the car. We have seen the rear end not as bouncy as we've seen it before, but definitely having fun trying to keep that car underneath the drivers. The fuel window for this race is going to be very interesting. Our stage breaks are at lap 20 and lap 40 in the 70 lap race. The fuel window is 20 to 21 laps. We are going to see a lot of strategy, a lot of mixed up ideas on how to jump the field and get that track position. We all know the track position is king, especially here at Pocono. And like you mentioned, with this long front straightaway, it is going to take the draft into a large factor in this race. It's going to be very interesting seeing these cars try and draft and maybe even save a little fuel throughout the race.
Yeah, I totally. When you talk about this and then tires, I wonder what the tire factor or tire wear is going to be tonight. Is that going to be a thing of where they're going to need the tires too? I know this race always comes down to fuel, but tires, man, you got to be patient. And we've always said that you have to be patient here. So, patient driver could take him to the top and get that W.
Speaking of patient drivers, James Loveland, we've been mentioning his name the past couple of weeks. He was doing really well in Dover until a late race incident. He is now in the third position. He is very known for saving those tires, and he's also looking to get a good results. The last season he finished third, so he's looking to repeat that in this season. So James Loveland definitely looking hopeful as he goes through this race, as he's currently in sixth in the points at 182, 131 points behind our leader Mark Whitley. So he has a little bit of a hole to climb out of.
Yeah, he does. So, and hopefully he could get it done here today. Starting pretty good position, and the 56 car looks like maybe Pocono might be his day. Surprising. Take a look at that 14th position. Ian Baker in 14th. So, a little trouble for him here tonight at Pocono.
And that is trouble for Ian Baker. We've been talking about Mark Whitley, Cedric Hunter, Jason Fensler, the big three, as it were. They're all in the top three in points. But in that fourth position is Ian Baker. He had a great finish last week at Dover, bumped him up 2 spots, put him in that fourth position, being only, 123 points out. But starting in the back of this field is not what he wanted to start this race.
Yeah, it looks like we're on the track right now with Ryan Chinwin driving that 31 machine. He hit the wall there going in qualifying. So last guy to qualify. Let's see where that's going to put him here tonight on the pole on the grid.
And definitely Ryan
Fine,
Twynham gonna have a
fine.
interesting race bouncing off that wall with with the long straightaways we've mentioned. It's a really high speed track. Aerodynamics is going to mean so much. You want that side force, especially when you're up against another car trying to make a pass into that turn one. As we saw, any damage to the body could really shave just a lot of time off over a run. So you want to keep all the panels on these cars as straight as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't want that stripe there on the side of your car. Up, looks a little loose there, and looks like he is taking it back to the garage.
And that will do it for our qualifying session. As they grid up, we will go through the field with our qualifying results. And starting here, Mark Whitley, of course, number one. Cedric Hunter, always hot on his heels. It's been such a great season between the two of them this year. Really fun to watch them battle back and forth. We saw them bump bumpers through the Roval, but then coming in third, as mentioned, James Loveland. Jason Fensler not having the speed that we saw last season. He's there in fourth. Robert Rader already starting good in fifth. Ray Lane. Fun fact about Ray Lane there in the sixth position. He had the fastest lap of this race last season, so he's going to want to capitalize and maybe make some gains on that. Peyton Presley there in seventh. Joey Stiers in eighth. Trevor Earhart in ninth. And wrapping out the top 10 is Grant Thorpe.
Starting in 11th is Justin Murphy. Dylan Watermelon driving in 11th. 12th, it's going to be Dylan Waterman. Oh, I just missed that. Dylan Waterman. 13th is Jacob Sorakovich. He's driving that in 13th. 14th is Ian Baker. 15th is Parker Johnson. 16th is Christopher Hines. Nick Ives driving in 17th. Robert Ringer driving in the 18th spot. 19 is Kevin Orlando. And the 19th is, the 20th is Cody Dorsey.
Starting in first is James Catrone. Michael Simmons, a newcomer to the league this season, 22nd. Scott Kerberg in 23rd. And not putting down a time, as we saw, is the 31 of Ryan Twynham in 24th. So that is our starting field. A couple of surprises surprising people like Robert Rader already starting in the top 5. Ray Lane, he has some speed. We've seen it throughout the season, but as we're watching the 6 car and the 13, they are going to be starting side by side, and we already know from earlier in the season, especially the Roval, these guys aren't afraid to rub a little paint. They haven't been wrecking each other, but they have been racing each other really hard as Cedric Hunter looks to try and make a little bit of a dent into the 41 point deficit in second place behind Mark Whitley this race.
Yeah, so it should be very interesting to see these guys once we get the green flag here. Pocono, it's going to be a long way around the track here at Pocono, so we have some time. And seeing these guys like James Loveland, can he bring it up there for a win tonight? Robert Rader, one of these guys that are looking for a win, and hopefully they could get it done here tonight.
And one of the things that's so unique about Pocono, so many people say it races like a road course. You got to start from the end and work your way towards the beginning. A lot of these drivers will be looking to capitalize on strategy. We saw last season, if you were all with us, that some people would jump the stage, maybe miss out on those stage points, but maybe try to capitalize, get in front of the field for the green flag. So it's going to be very interesting watching these guys run. And as we're talking, the green flag is in the air. We are off on the Save the Wolves 175 here at Pocono Raceway.
Yeah, and here they come. They're coming down into turn. This is where it's going to be crucial to see who's going to come out of there. As we look at Mark, he's got the lead here so far. Now looking around to see what he can get through as they move through turn 2.
And going through turn 1, Mark Whitley edges out Cedric Hunter by just a little bit, but right on the bumper of that 3-car pack is the 5 of Jason Fensler. He is really didn't have maybe the greatest qualify session that he wanted, but he has speed. He's had the speed. He wants to try and maybe make a dent as well. He's in 3rd in points, 46 behind Mark Whitley, so he is trying. And as we are talking, we saw a car into the inside wall before turn 3, and there is a pile up looking like 4, 5, 6 cars all wrapped up, and I think I'm seeing the 25 of Trevor Earhart.
Yeah, I believe so right there. Man, just a big gaggle of cars right here as we go to the replay.
Looking at the instant replay, we see the 11 of Peyton Presley. They're just going 3 wide, and there's Ian Baker. We talked about him earlier. He definitely wants a good run, and then there's the 25, and then everyone just trying to follow and file in behind him. Everyone just kind of blind. You can't really see anything until it's too late, and that's really unfortunate for the 25. He is in 5th position in points, 126 points back, so he's really trying to maybe, if he's wanting to repeat this year's champion, he's gonna have to really dig himself out of a deep hole at once.
Yeah, Peyton Presley there, a lot of damage done to his car. James Carone as well, he had some problems there along with the 24, and then when you're driving back there, somebody spins, and right in front of you, there's really nothing you could do. So it's just a unlucky, unfortunate mishap here at Pocono.
Definitely unlucky. First lap, second lap, having to use that fast repair, especially for the 11. A lot of these other drivers are probably going to save it. If you can stay in the draft, I think you can maintain speed. It's getting out of that draft, getting, maybe down, making a pass is going to really hurt some of these drivers with already taking this early damage.
Yeah, and when you got to go in there, you got to get repaired, and Ian Baker, I'm sure he's going down pit road to get fixed and caught up in the 25 car as well. So they're all need to make those repairs early, and this is where you don't want to use your fast repair. So it's going to be a rough night for those guys, and we'll see if they can get it back together.
But being so early in the race, these drivers can use strategy. We mentioned right before the green flag, they can get back on top of it, maybe even top off early this stage. So as some of the leaders will be coming down to maybe short pit, these guys will be able to stay out, possibly get to the front and make something of their night. Because being back there, we've seen these past few weeks has been really rough for about the middle of the pack on back. Just incidents like that. It's made starting back there so hazardous and so difficult for a lot of these drivers.
Yeah, and especially if you haven't driven here before, some of these I mean, these tracks are hard, and Pocono is one of those tough tracks. Even though it's three turns and it's a bigger track, there's a lot of things that you have to do and be patient. Maybe somebody hit trying to dive down into the bottom to try to get more of a pass or something on the bottom of the track, but it just didn't work.
Yeah, just definitely an interesting spot for that to happen. A lot of times you don't pay attention to your mirrors, something can happen, or if you're making a move at the same time the guy in front of you is, it's just really hard to coordinate that. But where you have this is going to bunch up the field for another restart and really save fuel for these drivers. These guys may be able to make it towards the stage and without having to refuel. So this is already lap one on the caution, causing some interesting thoughts for these drivers and when to pit and what to pit for. You mentioned tires. Will you go 2 tires? Will you go 4? We will have to see as the runs go on.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of different strategies now. You have the yellow flags. That's going to save on the fuel. So things could make it very interesting here. And, we only have 70 short laps here at Pocono tonight. So it's going to be really exciting here as we have, we're coming up to a green flag, but they're just going through turn one right here.
And it's interesting that Jason Fensler started fourth, made that move early, right at the start finish, really got up to third. He's going to be behind the leader of Mark Whitley, and both of those cars shoot off really, really well. And we've seen the 5 kind of give the bumper to the 13. So as we're riding along the rear bumper of the 6 of Mark Whitley, we're seeing that red number 5 just looking hungry, looking to make that pass and looking to lead this race. The number 5 led 37 of the 60 laps last season. He wants to repeat, maybe lead a little more since this race is running about 10 laps more than we saw last season. And as we're watching, we saw that black car behind the 5 get down low on the track. The lower you go on the track, the less distance there is. Already, drivers are starting to save fuel. They're starting to clutch. They're starting to, cycle their ignition and try that. But as we are going along, we can already tell these guys' fuel is on their minds.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting, and the tricks that you could do in a car to save yourself fuel. Like you said, you push down the clutch and then just let the car coast, which most of these guys are driving or they're, shifting gears to. So it's quite interesting how they do that.
But these guys may be saving fuel, but will they be able to save the tires? And we see Barney with the green flag out. Pace car makes a hard left turn, and we are green again. Being led by the 6 of Mark Whitley into the 13 of Cedric Hunter. Dives down hard and early to defend that inside spot from the 5. He definitely does not want that outside line into one. We saw him a little loose on that outside lane early on, so he's trying to maintain the bottom and stick his tires down on the paint.
Here they come now after turn 1, headed to turn 2 here, as it's still with the race leader of Mark Whitley. He's got it going on with Fenzer and Cedric Hunter right behind him. They're going to battle for second now, as Hunter is looking for Fenzer, or Fenzer's looking for Hunter here, as they come through over to the tunnel turn into turn 3.
And looking at that white 56, he's there in the 6th position. He started 4th. Did not get going very well. He lost 2 spots. He's definitely going to want to get that figured out as the run goes on. Try and get a better jump on the leader, or maybe just better launch. He was in that second row, so definitely odd to see him all the way back there already. But early on, with one green flag lap complete after the restart, we are seeing the breakaway of our big 3 already coming out of turn 2. So these guys racing hard, racing each other really hard as well.
Yes, they are, as they're nose to tail. Throw a blanket over them, folks. The 6, the 13, and the 5 car as they come around again. Here they come, making their stretch right out of turn number 2. Rocking and rolling, coming down, and still, the top three are right together again.
And an interesting move. There's the right there, the fourth place position of the 53, Robert Rader. He had a great run last week. Was able to have some time in the front, and right now he's in a really good position, being there in fourth, just kind of guiding in the draft there, just hanging out, maybe saving some fuel, not wanting to push the car too hard and let these guys maybe sort themselves out before he decides to make a move.
All in line still. Now they're going single file as they're trying to catch the pack here. As we look at these guys still in there, as you look at Mark, Cedric, and Jason all together with Robert right there as well, with a little gap in between him and Finzer.
And like we mentioned earlier, the stage breaks will be at lap 20 and lap 40. We are at lap 7 already, about to go lap 8. So already almost half the stage is already gone. So these guys, yeah, they can try and relax and maybe just cruise for a little bit. But Billy, when is the time to push the car and to make moves and to make up time rather than just sit back and let something happen?
Well, I mean, you got to make the move. I think they're going to stay content right now because it's still early in the race. So they still thinking that they've got a lot of laps left to go. So I think what they're all waiting for is that first pit stop to make whatever they could do, add some tires, or maybe even some people short pitting before the stage ends. So that might be very interesting and a very thing to look at here, because you could do it here in this series.
But when you short pit, you got to be really cautious of what they call the delta. How far back are you versus your lap speed? Can you maintain? Can you get out in front of the first place car? Because if you go in short pit and you all of a sudden lose the lead lap, all that strategy could be for naught. You don't want to be a lead, or you don't want to be a lap down right here and just have everything fall out of your hands just because of a misplaced or a missed, didn't think your pit stop through. So the 53 running that Wolf Conservancy District's paint scheme looks really nice right now. And behind him, we see the 56 actually was able to make the move on Joey Stiers. So the 56, after having a kind of a rough restart there, he is already trying to make his way back up into the top 5.
Yeah, cruising along, trying to get up there, trying to make a position to see what he could do here tonight. As you look at that 53 car, it's really, really sharp as well. So seeing that and seeing these guys do racing battles here tonight, just awesome, and save the Wolves.
And I think we are looking to battle for the lead at the moment. I saw those cars side by side and bumping, and as we are talking, they are 3 wide, crossing the finish line, going into turn 1, our big 3. Mark Whitley decides to get out of it a little early, and there's a little bit of a rub, a little bit of bump between the 5 and the 13. Looks like the 6 is going to try and get under the 13 and take advantage of that move as well. These guys getting dicey already halfway through the stage.
Nice to see 3 wide going in there, but now they've settled it out. As now we take a look at the 5 machine of Fenton. He's got the lead, followed by Cedric Hunter going in the turn 2, coming out of there. And you see Mark Whitney now just driving back to the 3rd position. So a little flip-flop there and a brave move to go 3 wide here at Pocono.
And we were noting earlier, these guys, that top 3 had a breakaway. That breakaway is gone now. You can see how much racing along and racing side by side slows them down as we're riding along with the 53, just watching the 6 car of Mark Whitley heat up the bumper of that 13. He's looking, but he looks to get out of that early, maybe a little earlier than some of these guys, roll the center a bit better and get on the throttle a little earlier. But as he does that, he kind of falls back a little bit more of the 13. So interesting strategies in how these drivers are racing the track and racing each other. Already some really fast-packed action here at Pocono.
Looking at the number 53 car, he was there, and now we're looking back at the 25 car as he's getting around here from that racing incident before. As we look at Trevor Earnhardt here, driving in the 16th position tonight. He's was involved in that first accident, first caution here tonight, and now he's making his way back up. And now he is recorded in the 16th position for him.
And the best thing for the 25 would be just to settle down a long race. We still have a lot of racing to go. As long as he didn't use the faster pair, he should be fine. But already I can imagine, he's driving angry, driving a little frustrated, but he looks, a little on the lower side of turn one, trying to make the pass on the 76 of Brad Ringer. But he can't relax. The 24 of Nick Alves is right behind him. And all of these cars are, fighting for position, fighting for points. These guys are all over each other early, and we have a wreck. The leaders are in an incident. Wow, we have the 13.
Whoa.
We have, this is amazing. Coming out of turn two, Cedric Hunter caught up in a rare incident for him. That's the 44 also of Ray Lane. These guys racing hard.
Wow, definitely hard, and now that's going to shake up things. Looking forward to the replay on that one, but wow, what can I say? Fireworks there as we're talking about other drivers in the field, and then that happens there. So we look at the 53 and the 13 get a little collided there.
And it looks like the 53 just couldn't hold that inside line going into two, try to make the pass on the 13 and just slid up into him. And that just causes a massive chain reaction. Once again, we see here on the straightaway between turn two and turn three. So exit of turn two causing issues and really tearing up some of these cars. Looks like 13 and the 53 may have to have some words during this caution.
Yeah, I'm sure there's fireworks are sparking here tonight. Definitely. Wow. That's gonna. Let's see what happens with the 13 being involved in that incident. Go in there, make his repairs and adjustments that he need, and man, that's just gonna drop him here tonight.
And that really kind of shakes up at least the front of the field. Those two were some of the faster two cars on the track, excluding the 5 and the 6 of Mark Whitley. So already racking them up on another restart. This is our second restart. We only had 2 cautions last season, and those are just for the stage breaks. These guys know that points are very valuable, and a lot of these guys just trying to dig themselves out of a hole. Robert Rader kind of back there in the points in 13th, but last week he had such a great run. He moved up 7 spots. He was hoping to repeat that feat today, but gonna have an uphill battle after that incident.
Yeah, for sure. And that's just when you think, all right, man, I'm doing good, and then you get involved in an accident, and then that's a stinker, and then you're disappointed. But now you got to shake it off, right? Because you shake it off, you get your repair done, and then make your best of it. And I'm sure Cedric Hunter will be back up there. All these guys are going to be back up there, and you got to take the bad with the good. And tonight there is a problem, so now what you do is you got to reset, refresh, and get back into the game.
And that is definitely what the 13 is going to have to do. We were talking about the 25 of Trevor Earhart. He went from 16th to 12th. He is looking to dig himself out of a hole of an earlier incident. But looking at our top 3, we have James Loveland now. He started 3rd. Now he's in 3rd. Jason Fensler leading this race. Joey Stiers, he started 8th and up to 4th in that 23 machine. That is really interesting to watch. And right behind him, Dylan Walterman, the freaky fast 99 machine, started 12th up to 5th. And then Kevin Orlando Jr. in the 27 up to 6th from 19. So a couple of incidents has really shaken up the field early on in Pocono.
Yeah, so and that's going to happen. You have those incidents and then shaking up the field, and you look right now. Look at Dylan there, the 99 machine. He started 12th and now he's 5th. And then Kevin Orlando, like you mentioned before, he started 19th, now he's 6th. So Christopher Hines as well, as he's started 16th and now 7th. So these guys are starting deep in the field, and now with that racing incident, here he is. Now he's up in contention, up in the top 10. So that's really remarkable.
So we had last week Jason Fensler and Mark Whitley have speeding penalties, and they recovered nicely. They ran through the field. Now we have the 13 of Cedric Hunter, another really fast car. He's going to have to work his way through the field, but this is no Dover. Working your way through the field here at Pocono almost does take a little more patience, it seems like, getting that run and getting the line in the corners that you want. This is going to be really exciting when we go green here this lap.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's going to be really exciting again. And I think this is going to be a really good race here tonight at Pocono. I think it's going to be um, one of the good races that we've seen so far. So I think definitely tonight is going to be interesting. You know, speaking earlier today, I was speaking with Joey Stires there, and he's worried about coming out of the tunnel turn and loose in the first turn. So he's talking about a loose race car, and he had to make some adjustments while he was in practice today. So good luck, Joey. He's making his way, and right now in that fourth position, maybe he might come up and see us in the booth tonight.
Maybe, but that tunnel turn seems to be giving the drivers the issue, so his worries are warranted. So a lot of these drivers struggling in that turn two, where that transition and everything is settled. It's really bumpy on that exit. And these cars, we've already noted, are already loose. These are really driver-oriented car. They want the drivers, and a lot of these drivers really like the Xfinity Series just because of the aero package and the engine package, having to actually control it and wheel and deal your way around traffic. But as we are talking, these guys are racked up. Pace car makes the hard left onto pit road, and off we go. Green flag. Jason Fensler with a great restart. The 6 of Mark Whitley having issues early. He is stacking up that outside line. A lot of people want to make that pass, and Joey Stires is trying to get on the inside, but just cannot make enough room between him and the 56 of James Loveland. And as we are talking, the 77 Grant Thorpe takes a really, really high line around turn one on this restart. So a lot of these guys already experimenting with different lines.
Yeah, definitely different lines at Pocono. You saw our race leader get right back from the inside to the outside so he could turn in that turn one, make a little sharp turn. So, yeah, these guys are finding different ways around this track. Either you go high side or low side. And right now, Finzer, who we're taking a look here, is right back up to the high side again and taking a pretty good lead for the 6 car Whitney.
And we're watching it again. These two cars breaking away from the rest of the pack, but those two cars, the third and fourth positions of Joey Stires and James Loveland. We've seen it before with the leaders when they went 3 wide. You just slow each other down. Sometimes if you can't make that move, it's almost better if you just kind of lay back and try and get back into position so you can kind of tag team the guys in front of you. And as we are watching, they are all single file and trying to make a dent into the lead that the leaders have already. Stage break, lap 20 already coming up really soon. So these guys racing as hard as they can for every point in position they can get.
Yeah, absolutely. And the big question is when they come up to lap 18 or 19, will we see some guys come down pit road before the stage ends to pull out another strategy? So we have to take a look at that and see if we're going to see that here tonight at Pocono.
And again, strategy, saying that word makes a lot of people nervous. Oh, we just want to drive fast. We want to win the race. But you don't win the race without strategy a lot of the time. We saw how some of these guys were able to mix it up at Dover last week and maybe get a little leg up on tires and fuel. These guys, totally different strategy. We see the 6 get a little loose there out of turn one, trying to get a little more of an edge on Jason Fensler. So these guys not giving an inch, but it looks like these guys, the leaders anyway, making a little bit of a breakaway from the main pack. And as we saw the 6 get his tires below that yellow line at turn 2. Very interesting. You don't typically see that, so early and so aggressively. He's really looking and wanted to make this pass on Jason Fensler.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here they come again, as they go around here, probably for the maybe 2 more laps left here. But yeah, they're trying to do their best to get stage points. And look at that 6 car. He's just trying to dig it in there, send it in there, trying to see if Fenzer can make a mistake here and take advantage of it as we come around here as we head our way up the Pocono Pines there to get to turn 2.
There's the 8 of Ian Baker. We noted he is there in the 4th position in points. Got caught up in an incident earlier trying to make his way back forward. Sits in roughly the 12th position now, but this is really getting kind of congested. You see the 31 Ryan Twynham, the 48 of Parker Johnston. All of these guys are not only racing each other on the track, but racing each other for points. They want that last coveted 10th position, that one extra bonus point at the stage. And so these guys really racing hard for that last point. Fuel doesn't seem to be an issue with the early caution, so they are going all out.
Yeah, we take a look at Cedric Henner going through the field here. He's trying to make his way back up to the front after experiencing that issue that he had involved in that accident. So still a lot of work to do for him. He's got a lot of work in the backfield there.
And a lot of these guys choosing to take that higher line. The middle line seems to be upsetting a lot of these cars. You either stay low, hug the paint down there, or go as high as you can without touching the wall. Turn 1 and turn 2, everyone's just fanning out. We saw Mark Whitley. Oh, as we see some contact coming out of 2 again, but it looks like we are all straight and still rolling. That was the 24 Nick Alves, and looks like the 77 of Grant Thorpe. So almost another collision, another incident here in the first going of the race here at Pocono.
Yeah, it just looks like he lost it there a little bit off the air, and man, that got through him, and then that's what happened.
And there is the caution for the stage break. Jason Fensler winning that stage. Mark Whitley finishing 2nd. Joey Stiers in 3rd. James Loveland in 4th. And Dylan Walterman in 5th. A lot of these guys coming from the rear and taking advantage of some early incidents on some of the fastest drivers, such as Cedric Connor. So we're going to see these guys go through pit road here in a little bit. We will be back after some words from our sponsors. and welcome back, race fans, to the Save the Wolves 175 here at Pocono. We have just witnessed a really exciting first stage with a couple of incidents. We are side by side, ready to go, and that is not an illusion. That is the 44 of Ray Lane using strategy to get back up front. He took fuel only to get through this stage. He was caught up in an incident earlier, but we are green, and he has a great launch with the 23 of Joey Stiers behind him. It's going to be interesting to watch Billy as he goes through the field, or how the field may have to go through him, as everyone else did take 4 tires from what I see. Jason Benson with a little bit of a slow pit stop, getting him mired back there in 4th, but everyone else staying relatively clean and moving forward.
But that 44 machine of Ray Lane doing what you need to do, and he made a choice here tonight as he trying to do some strategy here tonight and see how many laps he could lead before he gets overtaken here, which is going to be possibly very shortly by Mark Whitley here tonight. He's got it, man, as he come around the 44 machine. Ray Lane coming in. Look who's going underneath him. This is for the lead, coming down the stretch to see if the 6 car can make his move, and the 44 dominating into the turn 1 here tonight. Look at this as they dive down and finally makes the turn of the 6 car into turn 1. It is Mark, and he will take the lead.
So getting the fuel only helped him take that track position, but already he is succumbing to the old tires. Ray Lane, not a stranger to this track last season. He actually ran the fastest lap of the race, and he finished 2nd. But this is a different season, different race. So these guys already trying to take advantage and take strategies to use their advantage. The 5 of Jason Fensler now creeping up on that 44 machine. I'm going to call it right now. I think that 44 machine is going to be one of those takers early on to the short pit to end this 2nd stage, as we see the 5 getting underneath them and making the pass across the finish line. It looks like he's going to have an easy lead going into 1.
Yeah, and now here he comes again as he comes into turn 1. Now he's got Finzer right now, makes the spot around Ray Lane. So now he takes that 2nd position. And now things are starting to get a little racy up top here as we get right back, headed on our way to turn number 2 with Whitney there with the lead.
And that is something Fensler does not want to see. Whitley has the most wins. He is the points leader. Fensler needs a win, needs some stage wins to stay up front and keep the 6 car in the sights and the points, and this is not what he wants to see, having about a 2nd gap, it seems like, maybe a little less. But the 44 under attack by the 23 of Joey Stiers, and behind him will be the 99 of Dylan Walterman. No rest for him. He started to launch off good, but after a lap, those tires showed their true face and started getting past. As we see right now, the 23 going inside a turn 1 of the 44 car.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a freight train now as you look at the 23, and now you look at the 99 all going past them as the 44 now slowly going back to the field because of the car has not have fresh tires. So maybe it might be a strategy for later on. Maybe he'll have the fresh tires. So it's going to be quite interesting. Look at this as they are battling back. Look, the 27 car now comes around, and now him doing a battle with the 99. So it's the 27 of Kevin Orlando comes into place. He's got Dylan Watermelon right there as well. So all these guys are racing for position.
Definitely Dylan Walterman in the 99, Kevin Orlando Jr. in the 27, and then Justice Murphy in the 9 car behind him. They got really congested there going into 3, but they seem to have sorted it out. These guys are trying to get around this 44 car on these old tires to make sure they can stay in sight of the leaders. They don't want to lose any more time than they have to, but they also don't want to destroy their cars in the process. Everyone's trying to take it a little slow as we see the 99 get to the bumper and make an inside move going into 3. So trying to move. The 99 was able to capitalize on that 27 car having an issue, and this 27 car getting really close to the bumper there. Ooh, and almost in the wall there it goes the 99. So these guys really racy early on in this stage.
Well, you got to race it, man, right? So you got to get the most points you can. And now they're just trying to lick their chops because they know that the 44 machine has lesser tires, so they're trying to gain that position while the race leaders are just marching forward.
And looking at the bottom of your screen, that is the 13 of Cedric Hunter getting caught in an incident, trying to get passed by the 53 of Robert Rader. He has been able to take advantage of this restarts early on and pass some of these cars. He is really trying to make them move. He's right there in looks like a ninth, maybe eighth. He definitely is trying to. Uh, Stem the bleeding of the points. He's 41 points. He's in second in the points, but he's 41 points behind Mark Whitley. And with Mark Whitley leading, that points deficit is only going to get wider as he struggles to make this pass off of Justice Murphy. Christopher Heights right on his bumper. These guys are stacked and trying to make moves. Oh, looks like the 21. Christopher Heights gets moved a little bit by the 76 of Brad Ringer. So these guys not taking anything for granted as we are 2-2 here for 10th, it looks like.
Yeah, battling back and forth, and this has been now the exciting part of the race here is these guys are doing battle and trying to gain position, and they're looking a little racy inside, outside, as we take a look at the 21 car there. Christopher, as he's just really trying to hold on here and try to gain his position.
Yeah, and Christopher Heights, he has, inconsistencies, I would say. He has done really well, especially the super speedways. He seems to be a super speedway ringer. The 21 is, but having to race in some of this traffic, he has struggled getting caught in the wrong line, getting passed there by the 56, it looks like, James Loveland, and there's the 8 car of Ian Baker right there to take advantage of that opportunity too. So these guys not taking anything for granted, and I know we just had our stage break, but here we are, lap 32. We are 8 laps away from the end of stage 2, concluding at lap 40. So these guys almost a bigger rush this run than they were in the first stage.
Yeah, a little quicker to get to from stage 2 to stage 3. So a little short racing action here as we had lesser laps here to deal with. But this is getting to be intense. And these drivers are out there trying to gain the position. We take a look at the 76 machine here tonight, Brad Ringer. And he's been, going up and down the last couple of weeks. And we seen him come in here and he's doing well. And now we just switch it over to the 53 Robert Rader, who was up there. He was up. Robert Rader was up there in the top 3 here tonight. So he fallen back a little bit. And so his car, his machine, looking very optimistic here as he's trying to gain some points and gain some positions here with the fight.
I wonder if it wasn't a kind of learning moment for the 53. He tried to make that inside move on the 13 at turn 2, ended up upsetting his car and the car of the 13. The 13 has recovered a little bit better, the 13 in 6, but the 53 just barely outside the top 10. He knows he needs those points, but it's definitely fun to watch as we look at the 38 of James Catrone in front of the 25 of Trevor Earhart. These guys are racing hard here, back in 13th, 14th, and just really doing whatever they can not to lose any more spots than what they've already lost. They're looking forward to the end of the stage, getting new tires and getting these cars racked up, and you all know that's where you can make the most moves, is when these cars are all on top of each other on a restart, and maybe you can muscle your way through and gain a couple of spots.
Yeah, so especially when you're trying to gain that position right, and restarts are going to be really important as we go forward here tonight. So it's going to be very limited because of the limited caution. So these guys are battling back here, and it's making great racing as the leaders are just flying ahead and all in their lonesome up there.
And there's Trevor Earhart. We've been mentioning him. He is last season's winner. He's currently 5th in points. Actually lost the spot due to his performance issues at Dover last week. He has definitely dug himself a hole. He finished 5th as well here last year with 60 laps. So these guys trying to find a bit of a different rhythm. Justice Murphy there. He seems to go, come and go, come and go. He can't. Seems to be running that higher into middle line, but man, looking at the 13 car, really skyrocketing up there. He's creeped his way into sixth position, looking to make pass on the 27 for fifth. So after that restart, he has definitely recovered mostly from that incident in stage one.
Yeah, here he comes now. He's coming in on the inside. He gains another position. So here he goes. He away from Ray Lane, but the 27 car right behind him as well. Kevin Orlando trying to do all of his best to stay up with the 13 as he's now going to go on the inside. Look at that. He takes it on the inside. And Orlando making a move on Cedric Hunter now. Wow, things are starting to heat up as Hunter trying to recover and try to get that position back.
And Kevin Orlando Jr. had a decent performance. It wasn't spectacular, but he had a decent performance. He moved up 3 spots into the 11 points, and he's trying to gain whatever points he can here in the second stage. And as we see that other Wolf Conservancy Center paint scheme, him and the 53 of Robert Rader are teammates. So, of course, they are running similar paint schemes today for the Save the Wolves 175.
Yep, don't forget to save your wolves. Check out the website there and give your donation as, what you could do for Save the Wolf program. So here we are with the 27 machine still rocking and rolling, trying to make his way. He's currently in 6th, and Cedric Hunter, they're flip-flopping back and forth between 5th and 6th position here tonight. So quite good racing from these guys.
And as this battle rages, we have nearly a 2-second lead for Mark Whitley from Jason Fensler. So those guys have checked out and are just kind of cruising towards the stage. And that'll be another stage point, or 10 stage points really, for Mark Whitley to just further increase that gap between him and Cedric Hunter. But these guys are really, any race can change. You can get caught up in any kind of incidents or penalties. Mark Whitley, victim of a speeding penalty last week. Cedric Hunter getting caught up in an incident earlier on. So nothing is ever guaranteed, and points, you should get them when you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing's guaranteed, that's for sure. Anything can happen. Look, we didn't even think that the 13 would be involved in an accident earlier on tonight. So, yeah, things happen. It's racing. And you can never, look back and, high step it into the end zone. So, you're just going to have to run your line, do the best you can. And right now, look, the 13 is just hitting his marks, making his way around this field, and now getting back to where he was.
Speaking of anything can happen, we just saw the 27 Kevin Orlando Jr. I don't know if he made contact with that wall, but he got really close, lost a lot of speed and lost the spot even. He was really heating up the bumper of the 13, but here we are riding along, looking at the 8 of Ian Baker, and he is in 10th comfortably, 1 extra point with the stage incoming in a couple of laps, but definitely not the performance he was hoping for, being 4th in points so far, especially with this just really great recovery and drive towards the front last week at Dover.
Yeah, and I'd like, here we are with the in-car cam of the number 8 machine to show you what Pocono is like. So getting that different aspects, yeah, I mean, he didn't want to start where he started tonight, I'm sure. Struggling here tonight at Pocono, but he's doing well. He's just trying to get in that 10th position, maybe pull up to 9th if he can. But look how he's got to turn that wheel into turn 1, and it's really exciting to see it from the cockpit view for the viewer at home, to see what it's like driving this racetrack at Pocono.
And one thing I'm picking up on watching the 8 is look at him saw on that wheel back and forth. That could be part of his issues. Oh, as he gets a little loose coming out of 2. That could be part of the issues he's fallen back so far, is every time you use that steering wheel, you turn the wheels of different wheels of the car, that burns up that right front. That just puts so much more pressure, so much more heat into that right front, as we looks like he has a great corner 3. But his 1 and 2 definitely looking to need some work. He wants to move up the field in this race.
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes you miss your mark. So you miss your mark and then you got to correct it the next time. So that's what he's doing. And you look at him turn that wheel, and the viewers are just loving this view, because then you can see what it actually looks like when you're driving around the track, and seeing what the driver has to go through through different turns and how the wheel turns. Sometimes you got to turn right to go left, if that makes any sense, to try to get that arc, get that turn or hit that corner at the right arc. And there he goes. He's going to pass the 21 right now.
And you just saw it there, and this just makes that camera view so interesting. He was about half a second behind a cluster of those three drivers of the 27, the 44, and the 21. But in a matter of a straightaway, he was able to catch up, because those guys had some issues getting out of turn 2. So he was able to capitalize on that. And we see there, right in front of the 8 really, is the 44 of Ray Lane, as the caution comes out for the second stage break. So the first stage really full of exciting couple of incidents. The second stage we went green, no problem, but not without our kind of controversy. The 44 Ray Lane staying out and trying to use strategy, but I think that kind of backfired. He is down now into 8th position. If he wants to move up later in this run, he is definitely going to need to change those tires and maybe think on a different strategy. But as they go through their pit stops, we will go to a commercial break here, and we will come back as they go green. So don't go anywhere, race fans. We will be right back. And welcome back, race fans, to Pocono Raceway. As you saw, we went green, and there was a little bit of a tussle back there in the pack, and that is not your eyes deceiving you. The 53 of Robert Rader is in second after an early incident. He chose to short pit the field, so he pit right before the competition caution came out, made him kind of leapfrog the field. But as we are talking, these guys are racing really hard. Lap 46 of 70. We are in the third stage, Billy. The intensity is cranked up to 11 with how these guys are racing each other.
You know, the way this is going, yeah, the intensity has picked up. These guys know what it is. It's a race to 70 here as lap 47 right now. So this is going to be really intense racing. And it's really nice to see some guys making different strategies and, you know, trying to get that advantage as much as they can.
And definitely taking advantage. 77 of Grant Thorpe. We saw him maybe kind of tussle with the car back there. The strategy did not work for him, though. He is mired back there in 17th position, just trying to kind of salvage his race and just kind of keep out of the way with the 9. Justice Murphy right in front of him. But definitely interesting to see. Ooh, we saw the 9 get up there. But I think the 77 may be trying to do a little bit of fuel save. You can almost hear him. You can hear with the revs up there, and then you can almost hear it die. That's him clutching that clutch, really trying to save fuel, keep his RPMs down. We have 20 to 22 maybe laps of fuel window, and right now we are starting to open that window. So these guys, unless there is a caution, we are expecting some green flag stops later on in the run.
You know, I was talking with Greg Thorpe this week, and he was telling us that he really loves this track because each corner is so different here. And that this is going to come down to a fuel mileage race. So he had a lot of practice this week on trying to see what he could do to conserve fuel and make this a challenge for him to possibly pull out something that he hasn't done before.
And as we're talking, he makes that pass on Justice Murphy. So he may not be saving that much fuel, but definitely a good point there by Grant to have all these different corners. There are 3 different corners configured after 3 different tracks that NASCAR either still does run or used to run. It's very common to say, hey, you cannot tune all 3 cars, so take the best 2 corners you have and make it work. And it looks like Grant Thorpe is actually making it work, so good for him. And already starting with the strategy in the fuel save, so he is more concerned on the long game, maybe staying out when everyone pits. Definitely a gamble at his position, but you never know. Gambles can pay off.
Yeah, I mean, most definitely for him, you know, trying to get in here as we now take a look at Ian Baker doing battle with the 56 machine. James Loveland there for position. They're looking inside and outside of the 8, trying to come down as here they come around to the front and seeing what they could do.
And a caution is out for incidents. These guys were racing hard. I was about to say the 56 of James Loveland had a really long pit stop, about 3 seconds longer than everyone else. He dipped him out of the top 5, but this restart's going to really shake things up. Most people have been saying if you can get the restarts in the caution, you can save fuel. But as we go back to the instant replay here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, we're going to take a look at the 21 of Christopher Heights there, coming out of that corner. He just gets him into the wall there and just kind of skirts. And that's the thing, that outside wall, you bounce off that, you lose the car, and there you go into the inside wall. So his day, unless he has a fast repair in his pocket, his day may be done.
Yeah, so Christopher there hit the wall, lost control of that. Nobody else was involved. He just went in there, probably hit the apron too low, and then came around and did that 360. So tough night for him.
And just a bit of a correction, that was Michael Simmons having a little bit of a mix up on the numbers there on that car, because the 21, the actual 21 of Christopher Heights is rolling there in 11th. So right behind the 56 of James Laughlin and the 8 of Ian Baker, as we were talking about. So as we roll around, these guys are going to be saving fuel some more. Ooh, we have some takers for pit road. So as these guys do their pit service, I'm going to give a shout out to ButtKicker. Every game deserves a truly immersive experience. The ButtKicker Gamer 2 lets you feel every detail, from subtle footsteps to the rumble of a V8 powered race car, from ambient environmental effects to the power of a nearby explosion. It moves a physical mass instead of air like a traditional speaker, so it provides an instant, accurate, powerful bass response. And best of all, it's all perfectly in sync with every game and no additional software required. Go check them out at buttkicker.com. Use the discount code FreakyFast20 for 20% off your entire order. So, as we were going through there, a lot of these drivers choosing to go only fuel. So, fuel lap and fuel mileage on the minds of all these drivers. So, really fun to watch these guys kind of shuffle around on pit lane and see where we end up. And looks like we have a couple of drivers that decided to stay out, and that is the 21 of Christopher Heights and the 31 of Ryan Twynham.
Yep, for sure. The 00 car was the car that made the turn. Um, so Christopher Heights there stays out along with the 31. Remember back, the 31 did stay out before, so seeing him back up to the top again should be making it very interesting, as all the rest behind him pretty much have new tires.
And with 20 laps to go, this is going to be really interesting. It's hard to save fuel in front of the pack. It doesn't matter where you are. You have that clean air. You're on the throttle more. You can't take advantage of that draft. And these leaders are going to realize that in a hurry. So definitely wanting to see how these guys drive around. And we saw earlier with the 44, he tried the no tire strategy, just getting fuel, and he fell back really from the first to about 10th. These two guys are going to be kind of stuck out there in the middle in no man's land, because everyone behind them took tires and fuel. So you mentioned it earlier, Billy. What were tires and how valuable would tires be? I think right now we are seeing how valuable those tires really are.
That's true. And now we're going to see what the 21 is going to do and what the 31 are going to do. Will they fall or will they stay? So it's going to be a quite interesting move. And you know what? At this stage, stage 3, close, you're going to have under 20 laps to go here. Why not take that chance?
And one thing I gotta think back to Ray Lane in the second stage is he was the only one who stayed out, the only one who only took fuel. Okay, so that put the drivers on the outside, kind of a free reign to pass him. But now we have two cars. Both of those cars in the front row are going to be on older tires. How are these drivers on the newer tires going to be able to pass these other drivers without causing another incident? We saw incident between the 13 and 53 early, and that was for third, and that was in turn 2. So these guys are going to have their hands full when the green flag drops.
Yeah, and you look at it, there's only a 7-lap tire difference, around, an average of a 7-lap tire position from the guys that just got tires, because we just had a stage. So let's see what the fall off is going to be. So it's going to be quite interesting with only, 7 laps or so on those tires on the 21 and the 31.
But look at the row behind him, the 6 of Mark Whitley and the 5 of Jason Fensler. They have been fighting and dogfighting, kind of tugging back and forth for the lead all day long. So this is going to be really interesting how the top 2 fastest kind of match and pass everyone else as the pace car makes the left turn onto pit road, and we are green. Wow, what a great restart by Christopher Heights. That outside line, the 31 of Ryan Twynham, didn't get going at all. And look at that, behind the 5 of Jason Fensler's 13 of Cedric Hunter. He, after that incident early on in the race, he has fought his way back, and we are going 3 wide into turn 1. Wow, I cannot believe this is happening. And it looks like the 13 is going to get into the 31. We have a wreck coming out of turn 1. The number 5 of Jason Fensler caught up in it too. Wow. Another huge incident towards the front of the pack. This is just remarkable, and it looks like the strategy for the 21 has paid off. 31, not so much, with the 13 getting into that quarter panel.
Un- Unbelievable accident out of turn one. Wow. I mean, that was, there it is. There was no patience. Everybody was sending it into that lap. Wow. Let's take a look at the freaky fast broadcasting replay.
And you saw it, three wide, turn one, fresh tires, old tires. Oh, we saw the 23 of Joey Stiers get into the 99 of Dylan Walterman. Huge air there, and that just caused an accordion effect. Everyone else was just trying to find some open real estate to drive their car and avoid it, and absolute carnage ensues. Wow. It seems like all of our leaders have had issues today, with the exception of Mark Whitley. So I bet you the 21 is feeling really smart right now, being able to avoid that entire situation.
Yeah, absolutely. A good point for him. I think the process was that restart. The 31 car couldn't get out of anybody's way. He couldn't get that restart fixed, and that's where it just all caused that big old traffic. And then coming out of turn one, that's where the big wreck happened.
Man, and that is just crazy. As we're looking, it looks like the 21 is gonna make a trip to pit lane. This is a little interesting. I would have figured with a couple of cautions we would have been able to make it on fuel, unless let's see, his last pit lap I think was 39, so it's hard to say if he can make it, but he's going to make his way down pit road now. But I want to take this opportunity. I'm going to give a shout out to Advanced Sim Racing. Advanced Sim Racing was founded in 2020, and really they are the fastest growing North American chassis manufacturer in digital motorsports equipment retailer. They are owned and operated by passionate sim racers like you and me. They make and design the sturdiest, most durable profile racing simulation cockpits available. So they really good zero flex. They offer high-end simulator rental services along with turnkey configuration. So go ahead, check them out. They have a full catalog of equipment and devices, and use the code FreakyFast5, all spelled out right there, for 5% off your entire order. Billy, I am losing my breath here a little bit. This has just been a wild, wild race here at Pocono.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm just sitting here, just with the excitement here in the past couple of laps, and hearing you call that, and it was just so exciting, and the nerves are just jumping around, and these drivers there, big wreck, and now look at this, as Ian Baker now is moving up in the top five. So this is going to jumble the lineup here right now, as we're going to see new drivers up top. As you got Mark in first, and you got Robert Rader in second, and James Catone driving that 38, and then Ian Baker, and then Christopher Heinz, getting in there and doing it. Top five, man. It's pretty interesting to see that change up.
What's interesting is Christopher Heights pitted from the lead and came out in fifth. That's actually a great strategy call for him, seeing how Robert Twynham couldn't get it, seeing Twynham, the 31, not get anything going on that restart. He decided tires is good idea to keep his car rolling. You do see a little bit of damage on that back bumper, but nothing incredibly serious. And as I was talking there, it looks like he cycled back to ninth, but still top 10 effort for Christopher Heights, and he's going to have newer tires than a lot of the cars in front of him. It's going to be really fun to watch these guys, and we have to watch and keep an eye on the aggressiveness of 53, the Robert Rader. We saw him kind of dip inside 13 of Cedric Hunter and cause an incident. Will he do the same thing to the 6 of Mark Whitley? I think it all depends on the start Mark Whitley gets.
Yeah, here we go. We're going to do fireworks. Sparks are going to be flying. Best way to could say it here at Pocono. You thought that this wouldn't happen, but wow, what a change from last year to this year. As now we're getting to, as a fan, we're getting more exciting. It's bringing out the more incidents, and it's coming to be more exciting racing.
As as they say, cautions breed cautions, and we've seen it tonight. We saw it last week at Dover with 7 total cautions, and this is the 8th, so already pushing the envelope for the amount of cautions, which is really, really interesting. These guys have been, for the most part, really clean, but once they get together and really compacted, they really try to put on all the burners and try and get past that guy as soon as they can. But we are going through turn 3. We are going to see the pace car make the left turn onto pit lane right here, and the 6 is in control of the field, and we are off. Great restart for the number 6, but the 53 of Robert Rader had a really good restart as well. The top 4 all kind of spaced out. Looks like, oh, and we have a car
Right.
wrecking on the front stretch. Wow.
That is
That's
the
gonna be
31 machine.
the 31 of Ryan Twynham. He is out of the racing line. Looks like we're going to stay green for now. But the 38 of James Catrone, look at him in 3rd place. And he's really, I would say, not inconsistent, but he tends to overdrive that car, I've noticed. Once he gets up there, once he has the sniff of that top 3, that podium position, he kind of pushes the car a little hard, fries his tires, but being down there in 7th position in points, and he made some moves last week at Dover, so he's looking for a great points-paying race today.
23 laps to go here at Pocono as we are ready to go with Mark Whitney with the lead right now. Whitley, he's got the lead. Robert Rader in 2nd. James Catone in 3rd. 4th right now, it's Ian Baker, and Nick Ives drives out in the top 5 as they go through turn number 1 here at Pocono.
Nick Alves there in 5th. He is definitely looking for a good points-paying race as well. He's there in 9th position, 162 points back. In fact, he is fighting. He's actually tied with Brad Reeder right now for that 9th position. So he's definitely looking to maybe break that tiebreaker and maybe move up a spot, maybe 2 with the 5th place finish here at Pocono.
Taking a look at the 24 machine. He's right there. Nick Ives, as we talked to him about earlier. Now he's trying to work on the 8, Even Baker, as you see him driving through, as we got the roof cam going on and showing you a different view here at Pocono as he comes around another lap. This is the fight for 4th and 5th right now, as trying to do battle here on the field.
And as we were watching, I see that 38 of James Catrone get really wide on turn 1. This goes to show how critical and how precarious that turn 1 can be. It's so easy to overdrive that corner. But here's the 8. He's looking to make a move into that 3rd position. Also trying to kind of chase down our big 3 of Mark Whitney, Jason Vincent, Cedric Hunter in points. So this guy is really, these past couple weeks especially, he has really made a name for himself. And as we see, he makes a little bit more gain on that 38 in front of him.
Yeah, trying to get in here with 10 laps to go to finish this race here at Pocono tonight for the Underdog Racing League, seeing what they could do to gain battle as laps are starting to wind down here, and the action just a little spread out right now between everybody here tonight.
And as you know, these guys, it looks like 6th on back, trying to make moves, and then these guys struggling to keep their cars underneath them. We see the 21, Christopher Heights, had a good strategy ploy, decided to pit, but now he's fallen back, getting passed by Cody Dorsey and James Loveland. James Loveland got kind of mired in the back of the pack as well, but these guys trying to stay clean the rest of this race. But Ian Baker cannot seem to get around the 38. He can make a little bit of a leeway in the entrance of 3, but it looks like the 38 has just a little bit more edge on the exit. But don't look now. Behind him runs the 24 of Nick Alves. He's looking to make that spot too. So still a lot of racing left to go. 10 to go here at the Save the Wolves 175.
Moving around the corner, we're still looking. Here comes the 84 machine. We're going to take a look at him here tonight. And the 84 right now is currently running in...
Looks like the 84 is running in 7th, but it looks like he's going to
7th.
have
Okay.
that pass, getting passed by Christopher Heights. Cody Dorsey's actually had a really good race. He's kept his car clean, stayed out of trouble, but don't look now, the 27, Kevin Orlando Jr. right behind him. This is a really intense battle. These guys have been swapping positions the past couple of laps between him, the 48 of Parker Johnson, Cody Dorsey, as we see the 21 to finally get around the 84, but these guys all kind of bunched together looking to try and make that one more point, that one more position before the race ends here in about 9 laps.
So here they come. They're moving down. They're still single file. Look at the 25 car as we take a look at him now as he is trying to run his race. He was involved in that incident earlier on today. So there was our champion, Trevor Earnhardt, there as, yeah, little struggles here as he is the defending champion who's struggling here as defending his championship.
And these last couple of weeks have not been kind to Trevor Earhart. And through no real mistake of his own, he's been caught up in incidents. He's been just, as we saw last time, he's just gotten, swept up in everyone else's dust, as it were. But that's the 14 of Scott Kerberg. He's knocking on the door of a top 10. Good for Scott. He having any good run for him is just, he just loves to race. He's just a great guy to talk with. But again, with the 11, the same story. He's looking to make a decent top 15 finish, maybe a top 10 for Peyton Presley. These guys just really not having a horrible day, but here we are. Joey Stires, we've seen him in the top 5. He got caught up in an incident and maybe questionably caused the incident the last time around, so definitely trying to recover from that, but don't think it's going to be very possible as the further back we go, they get a little more strung out.
Yes, and with 7 laps to go here, as laps are winding down, it's still everybody just chilling out. There's a lot of gap in between the drivers here tonight as they all spread out. As we're looking at Cedric Hunter right now, who's currently in the
Looks like the 13 is going to be in the 16th
16th
position.
position. Yeah.
And this is kind of the worst case scenario for both the 13 and the 5. They're trying to chase down Mark Whitley, who has a sizable lead in the points, and they're really wanting to be able to use their speed and take advantage of that, but getting caught up in that last major wreck is going to really hurt their chances of catching that 6 car in the point standings. This is the 6th official race of the season. We're about roughly halfway through the season, so points are going to start to really take shape as the 56 James Loveland looks to also improve his position in points with the 8 of Ian Baker right behind him. So Ian Baker in that 4th position, we keep talking, but going down the spot's going to take 1 less point away from him.
Yeah, so these guys are battling up here for that position, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th position. So you take a look at that. So that's been pretty interesting. So you got the 38 there, James, and then you have another James Loveland driving the 56, and then Ian Baker all trying to get into that 3rd, 4th, and 5th opportunity here with only 5 laps left to go.
And the 56 looks to make a move going into turn 2. This has been the problem area nearly all night long. Looks like he's going to get through there cleanly, but he's not going to have that lead, that pass. The 38 still stuck in the corner, but going into 3, you got to take this inside line or else you're just not going to be able to go anywhere. And through coming out of 3, the 56 makes that pass for the 3rd position. So we may be looking at a podium spot here for the 56 of James Loveland.
Oh, he's still got it. Yeah, I mean, it's possible here, but those guys behind him are not going to give in. So they're going to still try to do battle, get up in that podium. It's a race for the podium, I guess I would say here. Wouldn't you say, Carl?
Definitely, but I'm looking at the 38, and it looks like he's showing some damage on that rear end. And like I mentioned earlier, he might have pushed his car a little too hard to stay up with the leaders, and he's starting to fade back just a little bit, just like the 8 of Ian Baker is doing. So hard to say what exactly is going on. Oh, and it looks like the 56 got into the wall, but the 53 of Robert Rader, he's had a really emotional roller coaster, as it were. Was fighting early on for third with Cedric Hunter, caught up in an incident, used some strategy to get back where he is now in the second position, and looks like we have another change for that third position. So third's not yet decided, with James Catrone making a pass on James Loveland.
No, definitely not. They're racing battle, and this is where it's getting exciting. Trying to wheel in, try to get that podium position. It's the race for the podium position. Really exciting here, as between the gap between first and second right now. There's 2 car lengths, but these guys are the show. And look at that 8 car. He's coming there on the bottom of the 56 car. He wants to make a move. He wants to gain that position and try, but the 56 is on the outside. Loveland trying to hold his position, and he will, coming out of the turn.
And you could see that he was just really uncomfortable with getting on the inside of the 56 there in turn 2, where there has been a lot of problems. But with that hesitation, right on his bumper is Christopher Hides in the 21 and Kevin Orlando Jr. in the 27. So if any of these guys make a mistake, they will capitalize. And here he goes again, trying to make the move on Loveland, going into 1, as we see up there. But the 38's starting to pull away from these guys. So as they fight, the cars that are by themselves or single file are able to pull away a little bit. It looks like the 8 makes the pass on the 56 as well. So these guys, race isn't over till it's over. We still have 3 laps to go.
3 laps to go. Whitley will take another lap led here, followed by Robert Rader. James Catrone right behind him as well on the 38, the 56 as well. So they're doing battle again, and it's another race and another race battle. And look at that, the 21 machine has come up from the pit road and now making his way up in the top 10.
And we see there the 27, Kevin Orlando Jr. trying to make the pass going on the inside of the 56. And the 21 is going to follow in his track. So definitely, you make a mistake, you're not just losing one, you're losing multiple positions. But the 21's not done. He wants that inside line from the 27. He wants that spot as well. He is going to push it as hard as he can. He does have a couple of fresher tires. He chose to pit on the second caution of this stage instead of the first one. So these guys really using strategy, just like we've been talking about all night long. And as we're watching, so close. It looks like maybe a little bit of close calls there with some lapped traffic. But as we watch the 6 exit turn 3, come down the front straightaway, we are waving our white flag. This is the freaky fast 1 lap to go, with Mark Whitley in the lead, Robert Rader in second, and James Catrone from third.
Yeah, here they come, racing out of turn number 1. It's still the same way, with Mark with the lead, followed by Robert, and then James right there as well. So these guys are racing, trying to get there. We've only got at least a half a lap here left to go at Pocono. And it's Mark Whitley. He's got it, man. He's running it down, coming through the final turn.
All Whitley has to do is hit his marks and just keep it straight. James Catrone there in third, kind of not necessarily under attack, but Robert Rader as well, solidly in second as the 6 comes out of turn 3 for the final time. This is going to be another win in a row, so this will be 2. He won back in Talladega and Homestead back-to-back, and he's going to win Dover and Pocono back-to-back. So already 4 wins for 4 wins for Mark Whitley. He is going to extend that points lead he has even further on the rest of the field. Congratulations to Mark. And we have, we mentioned it, Robert Rader being able to recover and may have a solid second place finish. It's going to give a bump of congratulations there to Mark. And James Catrone, this is a story, Billy. He started in 21st and he finished third. Talk about taking advantage of, other drivers' mistakes. He was able to capitalize each and every time.
Yeah, he sure was. I mean, that's what you need to do. You need to capitalize off of others. You look at Ian Baker too. He started 14th, came 4th. And then Kevin Orlando Jr., he started 19th and came out 5th. And the one guy that I want to give some props to is Robert Rader. He said he wanted to be in the booth tonight and do an interview, well, by golly, he's gonna be in here tonight.
And looking at the burnouts from the six of Mark Whitley, his second back-to-back win of the season. So he's already a force to be reckoned with. And look at them burn that down. Some excellent, excellent donuts from the number six. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you saw it here. Some really, really exciting action. Some cautions, some burnt rubber and bent metal. But we will be right back to talk with your top three after these messages. And welcome back, race fans. We just saw a super exciting, really exhilarating race tonight with a lot of carnage, but a lot of happy campers as well. And we're going to start off with the number 38 of James Catrone. Hey, James, this is Carl in the booth with Billy. You had an absolutely phenomenal run starting back way back there in 21st. Take us through that.
Just attrition, survival. I didn't get a chance to hop in very early in practice, and um, really just wanted to ride in the back and survive and try a little strategy and be there for the end. So,
During the your pit stops, how was you? I mean, you kept control of your car. What was your strategy going in today?
really just survival because I haven't had a chance to practice at all. I've actually never driven an Xfinity car on Pocono at all, so I didn't know what to expect. So I knew it gets really tight in the tunnel turn, and these cars can be a little tough to drive. So my main strategy was just to survive the first two stages, not worry about stage points, and be there for the end because I know people were gonna get pretty crazy trying to get stage points. Um, so really just survival and allow myself to learn the track the first two stages because I knew I really didn't have the speed in the first two stages to compete with those guys. And I think mid race I had it figured out and I could compete with them and just got lucky, kept the car clean, and was there at the end.
And sometimes luck is all you need, and luck in survival, you made it. But next week, Phoenix, an entirely different track. How do you plan on attacking that one next week?
Oh, completely different. Phoenix is my favorite track, so uh, I plan to be up there battling the whole race this time.
Well, I can guarantee you, I'm looking forward to it. The fans are looking forward to it. Before we let you go, James, anyone you want to give a shout out to tonight?
Well, definitely want to thank my wife for putting up with this and putting up with me. Thanks all the admins in the league. This is a great league. I've never raced so hard from first to 20th in any other league. Competitive all the way through. And thank you guys for putting on a great broadcast, of course.
Well, thank you, James. Congratulations on your third place finish. You go ahead and celebrate.
Yeah, thanks. Let's take this momentum to some other tracks.
Good to hear. That was our third place finish, a 38 of James Catrone. But right now, we're going to pull in the second place, the number 53 of Robert Rader. Robert, this is Carl and Billy in the booth. Tell me what it was like kind of trying to make that move into turn two on the inside of Cedric Hunter and then fighting way back all the way up to second.
Well, it was fun. Um, yeah, going into two, um, I mean, I, he didn't need to be on my door that hard, and I think we actually had a little bit of net code before we had real contact because the car just turned right. So just racing too hard at the beginning of the race didn't make any sense, but somehow able to recover. A lot of strategy plays there and trying to save tires and all kinds of weird stuff just to end up in front there, and it all worked out, fortunately.
Hey, this is Billy here. Hey man, it was great talking to you, and thank you for responding. You're racing for a good cause tonight. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, pretty cool. Four Star Industries put on this little thing here. Kevin knows a heck of a lot more about it, and I wish he could have got up to P3 so he could have given you the real details here. But New York Wolf on the car, NewYorkWolf.org on the car, which is really cool. Um, and they do a lot of work with wolves and making sure that we keep a sustainable amount of wolves out there. The wolf on the hood of my car was Apache, who used to be the leader of their little crew up there. Unfortunately, he passed away, so R.I.P. Apache. But definitely a cool car, and appreciate Kevin taking the time to put that scheme together.
And it was definitely fun watching you guys roll around in those, camo schemes. But next week we have Phoenix, an entirely different track. We've been able to talk to you a couple of weeks in a row. Can we make it three?
I think so. Phoenix is a really good racetrack for me. It's a lot of fun. I think I might just go ahead and run this New York Wolf .org scheme again next week. May as well see if we can put it in victory lane because it should be a pretty good racetrack for us. But tonight Mark was super fast. and I was surprised I was actually catching him at the end there until I killed the wall, just trying to get too much. But Jason Fensler, Cedric, those guys are going to be hard too. So it'll be hard fought, but maybe we can get it in victory lane.
Definitely hard fought. They usually are every week, Robert. Anyone you want to give a shout out to tonight?
Got to give a shout out to my family again. Kevin for putting the time and effort to get these cars and schemes set up for us. My buddy Sean, who likes to watch the races. What's up, Sean? And then you guys for putting on an awesome broadcast as always. I think that's about it.
Well, we definitely appreciate the love. Go ahead and celebrate your second place finish and enjoy it.
Yeah, well, hopefully I'll see you next week. Appreciate it, guys.
That was Robert Rader, our second place finisher. But here is the winner of your Save the Wolves 175 of Mark Whitley. Mark, it is Carl and Billy in the booth. This is your second win in a row. You won Talladega and Homestead back to back, now winning Dover and Pocono. Tell us going through there, especially with the carnage really throughout the race.
Yeah, Pocono has been a good track for me here the last year or so. So I felt pretty confident coming in. We have a fast car, and practice we were top of the board, and I literally ran the exact same lap time in qualifying. So I felt pretty good for us. And then Fensler and Cedric, they're always the other two up front here last, pretty much all season. So I knew they were going to be hard to beat. And then we got on a little run there, and I made a mistake off of 2 and had to pedal it, and Cedric got up under me, and then we kind of beaten bang doors, and it got 3 wide for a second, and Fensler got through. We went back, and it was pretty much just jockeying for position that first run, and that caution came out, and we just I tried to make sure I tried to beat as many of them off the pit road as I could, and I was able to get off. I think I came off second when somebody took 2, and yeah, after that, it just seemed like carnage on the restarts. Luckily enough, we weren't involved in any of it. Thankfully, I think I got all that out in my Monday night league. I think I was involved in every wreck in that race. So we're, just good fortune. That's what you have to have when there's that much carnage. Especially you just have to be in the right lane and just know where to put your car, know where not to put it. That last run, once I got clear, I figured we were gonna be good because pretty much I'd been able to walk away from the field all night. So I just kind of started backing it off, taking it easy, and I don't know what had happened, but I think maybe somehow not driving the car not as hard, not as much off the right rear. It killed the right front and it fell off a cliff, and I was getting real worried there for that second place car because he started catching me pretty good, and I don't know what happened to him. I think he knocked the wall down off a 2-1 lap, and that just kind of made it where I had a safe enough cushion. I just kind of brought it home all together. I was getting a little worried toward the end, but not too bad. Like I said, Pocono's been a good track for me, so I always love winning here. It's a very unique track. It's one of the more fun big tracks, in my opinion. All the other ones are pretty boring most of the time. This one's pretty fun to run. You got 3 unique corners. They all drive differently. I mean, you got turn 1 that's pretty much normal bank corner, and you got a half corner in 2 that's kind of flat. But if you hit it right, you can hit it pretty fast. And 3 is just a standard flat track turn. And this track's just very intricate, and thankfully we were able to come out on top and avoid all that carnage. I know Cedric and Fensler weren't so lucky, so been nice to race with them at the end, but I can't say it was a little bit more I don't know, easygoing, I guess, to say, not having to worry about racing them at the end.
What is your thoughts going into next week's race?
Next week, I think from what I heard, it's Phoenix. That's another good track for me. It's kind of similar to this one, where it doesn't really have 3 unique corners. It just has like the kink in the back. Well, I guess now the front straightaway, but I haven't raced it since they've done the reconfiguration of it. But I mean, it's pretty much the same track. But Phoenix is normally good for me. I think it's gonna be probably more of the same. You're going to need to stay out of trouble because that giant front straightaway with the big apron. A lot of times people throw dive bombs and just clean somebody out. So I think it's gonna be about keeping your nose clean, keeping the tires under it, and just making sure you're there at the end. That track's pretty tricky and it can wear the tires really quick. So if you go too hard at the beginning of a run, you'll be falling through the field there at the end. So it's going to be a tough race.
And definitely these past couple races have been kind of battles of attrition, but you seem to prevail in those races, being the race winner. Anyone you want to give a shout out tonight?
Oh yeah, first and foremost, got to give a shout out to my wonderful sponsor, Harpoon Design, putting together all my great paint schemes I run week in and week out. Check him out, harpoondesign.com. He can make you a custom one, or if you just want to check out some more stuff he's done, he's got a whole lot of them on trading paints. And then another great shout out to my other sponsor, shopangryduck.com. They're the one-stop shop for all your custom racewear, apparel, hoodies, hats, anything you want, they can make it. Also in the business, or if you're trying to get in real racing, to get a wrap for your vehicle, car, go-kart, whatever, they do those too. So check them out, shopangryduck.com. And another great shout out to my family. They're always, supporting, always watching the broadcast when they can, even when they don't, even if they can't, they always go back and watch it later. It's always nice having that kind of support group. And then a big shout out to the league. Always good racing here with everybody. It's a good group of guys. I know we had a few cautions here tonight, but for the most part, it seemed to be pretty good racing here at Pocono. And then one last shout out to y'all guys for putting on an awesome broadcast. I've said it 1,000 times probably, but Freaky Fast is probably one of, if not the best broadcast on iRacing to me. Every time I watch it, I'm never disappointed. It always impresses me. So can't wait to see what y'all do in the future.
Awesome. We definitely appreciate the shout out. Mark, congratulations on the win. You go ahead and celebrate for your family, and good luck next week.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take it easy.
Well, we just heard from all our top 3 finishers. Billy, we had a night of carnage, attrition, survival, any way you want to call it. Not only is the track unique, but we definitely had some unique racing tonight. Next week at Phoenix, I feel we're going to have another crazy one on our hands. What about you?
Oh, absolutely. Phoenix Raceway is going to be fun. It's just like Mark said. I mean, it's a similar track. You got to drive it similar. So it's going to be quite interesting to see these guys. And, even though the 13 and the 5 car had some troubles tonight and, had some incidents, it's nice to see the other guys come on and, look at Robert Rader, right? I mean, he finishes 3rd. So it's interesting to see different drivers, get a good night and makes them feel a little bit proud,
And that is definitely a fact, having some good runs. Next week is Phoenix Raceway, 8:30 Eastern, and until then, ladies and gentlemen, you take it easy. Right now, I'm going to send it up to our producer, Robert Moyer Jr. I'm sorry, he's gonna throw up the lineup there. We have, of course, Mark Whitley winning. We have Robert Rader in 2nd. James Catrone in 4th. We have James Catrone in 3rd. In 4th was just so many good cars up there. Jason Fensler finishing down in a wreck, multiple laps down. We have Cedric Hunter. He was able to kind of finish with some damage, so kind of stemming that tide. But man, just a huge, like Billy said, just a huge mix-up of drivers tonight in the cautions. But definitely now I'm going to give it to Robert Moyer Jr., and he is going to close us out.
All right, thank you, Carl. Thank you, Billy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can still see, I got the standings up there helping out everybody here. As you see, starting out there in 11th position, down through is going to be Trevor, Peyton, Presley in 12th. You got Scott finishing 13th position. You got Joey's in 14th in that number 23. You got Jake up in the 15 and the number 3, Grant, bringing it home 16th there in the number 77. But like you said there, Carl, what really stands out is Cedric Hunter way down there in 17th position. And then if you look through the rest of the field here, ladies and gentlemen, you will see, which really catches me off guard here, is Jason Finsler had to park it after that, getting involved into that wreck. He's down 16 laps now. I couldn't tell you the last time I seen Jason Finsler down that many laps. Like, I'd have to go back and look at our history here at Underdog Racing League. I know I don't recall it ever. Honestly, I really don't. But that is going to be your final lineup. Like Carl said, next week, ladies and gentlemen, we're here at Underdog Racing League. We will be at Phoenix. Make sure you come out to next week to check out all that action. as we get ready to head off there with the new layout. That's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be some really, really good racing, I do believe, there. But with that being said, we're also going to check out our upcoming schedule here of the rest of the week here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. And as you can see, tonight we are at Pocono. Tomorrow night we're going to be at The Rock with Stars and Stripes. Make sure you tune in Thursday night, 9:20, as they take on The Rock with Sam Dyer, Zach Hall, calling all the action. And then we head off to Saturday, where the NISCC Cup Series is going to be at New Hampshire at 8:50, as we get ready for their, I believe, last round of their 8, and well, yeah, somewhere close to that we're going to soon be having down from our 8 to number 4, as the season's getting ready to close there. So we're going to soon crown a champion there on Saturday night. So make sure you tune in at 8:50 to check that stuff out too, and it's going to be awesome. So yeah, can't wait to see how that all plays out here as that comes up here for the rest of the week here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. So, again, we do much appreciate everybody tuning in. You know what to do out there on YouTube. If you don't mind, you can hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the action here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, or you can hit that share button and share it to your friends, to your favorite social media platform of your choosing. Doesn't matter to us as long as it gets to share, gets the views onto the favorite drivers, the drivers that you root on week in and week out. But with that being said, I have nothing more to say. We are going to sign off here from the virtual side of Pocono. Everybody have a great rest of their Wednesday night. Be safe Thursday. We will catch you Thursday night. But until then, God bless everybody. We love yous all.